Good evening, friends. Welcome to our friends in person and welcome to our friends online. How feels everyone?
Awake and ready.
How is everyone?
Awake and ready.
Wonderful. We want to welcome you again to our special launch of Nayaswami Parvati's Say Yes to Life. And it's going to be an informal evening of sharing with Parvati, and we're going to intersperse it with some music. And Dambara and I are going to start with a chant by Swami Kriyananda called I Am Free. So we welcome you, whether you're at home or in person, to join us so that we can awaken our enthusiasm to say yes to life. And really that's the key, like the ignition, turning on the engine of our willingness. So join us in this chant, I am free.
And this is the most recent version that Swami wrote, which starts off, I own nothing, I am free. I own no one, I am free. Goes through the whole verse. And then the second time around, I need nothing, I am free. I need no one, I am free. Here we go. I own nothing, I am free. In myself I am free. I own no one, I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. I am free, ever free. In myself I am free. I am joyful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am blissful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself I am free. I need nothing, I am free. In myself I am free. I need no one, I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. I am free, ever free. In myself I am free. I am joyful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am blissful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself I am free. I need nothing, I am free. In myself I am free. I own no one, I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. I am free, ever free. In myself I am free. I am joyful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am blissful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself I am free. I need nothing, I am free. In myself I am free. I need no one, I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. I am free, ever free. In myself I am free. I am joyful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am blissful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself I am free. I own nothing, I am free. In myself I am free. I own no one, I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. In myself I am free. I am free, ever free. In myself I am free. I am joyful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am blissful, ever free. In myself I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself I am free. I need nothing, I am free. In myself, I am free. I need no one, I am free. In myself, I am free. In myself, I am free. In myself, I am free. I am free, ever free. In myself, I am free. I am joyful, ever free. In myself, I am free. I am blissful, ever free. In myself, I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself, I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself, I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself, I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself, I am free. I am nameless, ever free. In myself, I am free. I am formless, ever free. In myself, I am free.
Thank you to Dambara for bringing enthusiasm and joy with the music. A way of brief introduction for Nayaswami Parvati. I was thinking that of the mustard seed and that analogy that Christ gave, that the mustard seed grows into this vast tree, and how that's symbolic of our spiritual growth, that when we take just one step, that it expands ultimately into cosmic consciousness. And this is really, not to sound grandiose, but it's the story of Parvati, and it's the story of each and every one of us that she's sharing in this book, that when we say yes to life, it has the most tremendous power, and we don't realize it. Swamiji once said that the littlest ember, just like we're out here in fire country, can lead to a bonfire. And the littlest spark of devotion in our hearts can lead to a conflagration of divine bliss. And if you look at Parvati's life, she started what seemingly at the time were these small projects like Master's Market, which maybe at that time looked like a little fruit stand. And now it's the center of our community here at Ananda Village. Master's Market is known as downtown Ananda. And it's the place where we gather. It's a place, I was just there this morning, and you just feel so much joy being there. And I thought, well, the same happened. Parvati started some 20-some years ago, the Janaka Foundation, which is to help secure the financial future for Ananda. And that has grown as well, like a little mustard seed. But of course, the real growth has been her spiritual life, which she has not kept to herself, but is sharing. And that's the hallmark of Ananda, of Parvati, of being a pioneer of Ananda. I was thinking the subtitle of the book is Spiritual Adventure and Discipleship in the Building of Ananda. And that discipleship, what I realized in talking with Parvati about the book, for her, has been a practice of joy. That the adventure is joy, and it's an adventure that goes on. And that foundation of saying yes has built the true Ananda and spirit in her heart, and it has the power to grow within each and every one of our hearts. So will you join me in warmly welcoming Parvati to share on Say Yes to Life?
Thank you very much. It's great to spend this time with you this evening. You know, in writing this book, one of the questions that I got, because it's about 50 years of my life, several people have asked me, how long did it take you to write the book? And I thought, well, that's a story, because it was a process. And it was something so I thought I'd share just a little bit about that. I'd say around 1998 or something like that. Each of us who were here from the 1970s and then stayed, and other people came and joined us and all of that, but it's like we have had such an incredible life. I mean, we keep saying that in different ways, each of us, at different points when we're talking, but it was so incredible that it's hard to even imagine trying to express it because it's been an ongoing adventure, and that's why I use that term, both spiritual adventure and discipleship in that adventure. But so around 1998, I thought, if I don't capture something now, I'll forget about it. It will go away. That was 26 years into my being with Ananda. But we were in Portland, and we were the spiritual directors there, and so I couldn't start writing a book. But what I did was, 1998, I made cassette tapes, and I recorded 3 cassette tapes, 90 minutes each, and I just put down everything that had happened before that time. So 26 years. And it was a lot. And then, so I captured it. I captured the memory, what happened, the vibration, all of that. And it was just free flow. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to write a book actually from this. But I stopped. I had to. It was 1998, and 1999 we went to Italy with be with Swami, and then 2000 happened, 2001, everything exploded. I mean, event after event happened. So those cassette tapes sat for years. And then at a certain point I thought, and at a certain point I was thinking, maybe it was, so we're in 2024, I'd say maybe at least 10 years ago, maybe more, I thought, okay, now I need to transcribe them, which was a huge job. I mean, 90 minutes, 3 times 90 minutes. So anyway, but then I thought, no, just do it. So I made myself do it, and I transcribed little by little and got all the transcriptions. So I had a body of work there. And then for a number of years, I'd say probably 8 or 10 years, every time I had seclusion, I'd just work on it a little bit more. But one, I'm not a writer by profession or by experience, and 2, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to edit. And so I just pare it down, looking at, I didn't want it to be too personal. I didn't want it to be hurtful. There were things that happened that it was like, whoa, that happened, and but I didn't want that. I wanted it to be just an experience of the time. And so I just pared it down, and then a few years ago, I was 76, and I thought, now's the time. Either it gets edited now, and we're moving forward into something like a book, maybe, I'm not sure, because when you get so close to things, then all along I'm thinking, is anybody really going to be interested in this? I mean, it's meaningful to me because it was so amazing and such an incredible spiritual adventure with Swami Kriyananda. And so I thought, no, okay, let's just stop this, I can't go any further, and let me edit. And so I started out briefly with Bob Stoltzman. He couldn't continue. And Anandi, I had asked her about this, not wanting her to edit it, but I said, who can I get to help me? And she said, well, Prakash. And I thought, Prakash doesn't have email or a computer or anything. How am I going to, But I came to the place where I thought, no, I think that's right. And so I asked Prakash, this was in 2022 in the summer, and I said, would you be willing to help me? And he said, oh yes, for sure. And so we got in a rhythm, and the rhythm was this. I would print out a section of the book. I would put it in his box. Over the weekend only, because he worked the rest of the week, he would edit like crazy. And then I would pick it up from my box on Monday or Tuesday, put it into the computer, so that we've got edited versions happening. And we went back and forth like that. We went through the entire manuscript 3 times. It took almost a year, but it was worth it. And then at the end, so we get to like summer of 2023, and I said, "Are we done? I mean, I don't have experience with this, so I don't know." And Prakash just looked at me. He said, "Well, we could go on for a long time. We could just keep going, And I said, "No, I think 3 times through, we're done. It's good enough." And good enough meaning I needed to show it to somebody. It was just he and I that had seen it, really. And so then at that point I thought, okay, now's the time. So printed out the manuscript and I gave it to Jyotish and Devi. And I thought, yeah, I don't know if it's worth anything. I really don't know. It's too close to me. It's just my memories, my life. And so I think Devi read it. I'm not sure if Jyotish read it, but anyway, Devi said, "No, I think it's good." And that was good enough. And so then I talked to Narayan and Dharma Devi, and I said, well, why don't you take a look at it and see if you think it's a book. And so they did, and so we started the process in the fall of 2023. So to write a book, it is hard work. It just goes on and on and on. And then at a certain point, Barbara Bingham and I got together, and so I thought, okay, we're done. The manuscript's it was done, to crystal clarity done. But then the photos, and I thought, well, I have all the photos, but they weren't print quality photos. And so Barbara Bingham and I worked for another 2 months on getting the photos up to quality where they could actually be printed and look decent and all of that. So that was really very nice and just wonderful. When you're writing, I learned, because this is the only book I've ever written, it's like you start like this. These ideas are just out there, and they're big and they're grand, and you bring them down and you edit and you bring them down and you bring them into a little thing like this that's called a book. It's a very interesting experience anyway, but also along the way I would get ideas. I'd get feedback from Swami or Master, or just, there was one point where I said, oh my God, I didn't write at all about the Nayaswami order, nothing. And so I went back and wrote a section on that, but just bringing it down, and bringing it down to where it would be, as Swami said, editing is like plumbing. So you're bringing it all down to something that's enjoyable to read and interesting. And so one of the comments that I've gotten that I keep telling Prakash periodically is, wow, this book is pretty well written. I learned a lot about the English language, my use of it, and how it really should be expressed. Yeah, because how you speak generally, it's not how it is written in a book. So anyway, there was that part. So it's been quite a process. I'm very glad it's done. And when I go back, I didn't read it for a long time because it was too much. I had been with it too much. But when I went back and read it, I thought, no, I think it's good. Because really it's the story of my life with Swami, Kriyananda. And it's like, so it's very close, and it's something that for me was like life-changing, deeply inspiring, but ongoing. It's like, how do you keep doing that for over 50 years? And so some of that is captured here. The flavor of Ananda in the early years was very different than now. You know, I mean, you look at pictures and, you know, it's like, oh, it just looks primitive and, you know, mud and all of that. It was wonderful. It was just really incredible, because it was like, here we are. When I arrived, and when I first heard Swami Kriyananda, just at a Sunday service, first time that I went to one at the meditation retreat, and I heard him talk about the teachings of yoga. I don't even know what he said, but the vibration was so appealing. And it reminded me, I had just read, like a few weeks before, the autobiography for the first time. And when I heard Swami speak, I thought, it's just like Yogananda. It's the vibration, not the words, the vibration, the consciousness, the spiritual adventure, the, you know, all of the path. And so that was just, an experience, a taste. And then I had to go back. I was living with someone at the time. We tried to move here in the fall of 1971, and we had come in the summer. It was sunny, dry, warm, really, you know, everything was nice, easy, you know. We came back at the end of September. It was cold, rainy, dark, and it snowed about a week after we were there. We were trying to move there at that time, and I thought, no way, we have to leave immediately. And luckily we did, because that winter there were feet of snow that started at the beginning of October and just kept going all winter. Yeah, it was just incredible. So luckily we went back to Bay Area. But when we did, and these are things that are all in the book, but I'm just remembering that flow. When we did that, we took with us the techniques. And I was, at that point in that summer, I was a mail carrier. It was a temporary job, but I had to be at work at 6:30 in the morning. So we got up at 3:30 to meditate because there was no other option, and we were really into it. So energization, yoga postures, meditation, Hong Sa technique, Om technique, whatever we had, we did. And it was just wonderful. It was real spiritual adventure, because we could feel the power of the teachings and the techniques. And so, and Swami wrote $1 a month club, and so we'd get those periodically in the mail. Remember 1971, nothing other than that, no digital world. But also, when I came here, and the things that I noticed in particular was how normal Swami Kriyananda was. He was a real person, he was a man, he was dynamic, but not overbearing, just dynamic, full of energy and joy and building Ananda. But it was very natural. And when I was reading through the book before, in the last day or so, and so we came. We didn't announce that we were coming. We just arrived with a 15-foot trailer and a little Rambler station wagon, and we parked up at the meditation retreat, and we told Satya, we're here. Yeah, because I had asked about membership the summer before when we first visited, and people would just get very vague and just say, oh yeah, maybe so-and-so knows about that over there. But nobody could tell me anything. And there was no phone. I mean, you know, you couldn't easily get a hold. So we just arrived, you know. I thought, great, let's just be there, you know. We'll arrive. But then about a month and a half later, Spiritual Renewal Week happened, Kriya Initiation happened, took that. But there was a membership meeting, because they actually had membership meetings. Swami was on the membership committee, Jyotish, Seva, Lakshmi, Devi, probably a few others. But at any rate, so we were like, uh-oh, you know, we've just arrived. They don't know us at all. All we said is, we're here. And so we went to the membership meeting, and it was Swami, and we were a little concerned. They were just relaxed and laughing and happy, and Swami looked at us and he said, so, you want to be a member? What do you all, you know, the membership committee, what do you all think about that? Should we let them in? And they said, Yeah, I guess so. And then all he did was he turned to us and he said, well, I guess you're in. That was it. Yeah, because, again, in those days, Swami was looking at people, and so he could tell we had energy and we were serious and sincere, and we brought money with us so we could, live for a while and all of that. But anyway, it was just relaxed, and yet very clear. When Swami spoke about the teachings, it was as if Master were speaking about the teachings. So that all happened, and then feeling the rhythm of life, actually, what Ananda actually was about, we got to experience then. So we arrived mid-July, and we had a few months before winter started. And in those days, by the way, after that first time when we were new, we would call it fall frantics. And anybody who arrived here in the summer and wanted to stay, it was like, okay, well, you got to have a place to live, you got to have heat, you got to have light, you got to have, all these things in place to be able to do it. And so we did that. We had all of that, and enough anyway. So anyway, then the rhythm of life and how things happened, there wasn't a lot of form. And in fact, when Seva first had arrived at Ananda Village, she had known Swami in San Francisco, but she moved up here to the village, the farm, whatever it was called at the time. And the thing that Swami asked her to do was to come into the office every day, so that there would be a rhythm started that somebody was coming into an office every day, and people would see that, because we had businesses and they functioned in certain ways, but things were scattered. There wasn't, so it was much more, you had to make your own rhythm and commitment and really do that. It wasn't like somebody was telling you what to do. And then, but the thing that I noticed also and felt from Swami was he was very much about, we're building a community here. It's for Master, and if you see something that needs to be done, do it. Yeah. And so, because he said, I can't create a community. It's you all, the people that are here. So that was what made me think about starting the market. I was working at the farm. I was making flower jewelry with Benai, his business, and there was no place to eat. There was no food at the farm. A little bit from the dairy, but nothing real. And 15 miles into town, not everyone had a car. And in North San Juan, there were 3 bars. Toki's restaurant, which had yakisoba, one vegetarian dish, and a lot of junk food and stuff. So anyway, but I thought, well, at least I can do something, And this is the consciousness of the time. I didn't have any money to do this, but that didn't seem to really matter. What mattered was that you just did something, let's get some energy moving. And so I thought, well, I can do that. I didn't see that. In other words, what I'm trying to say is, I didn't see that as an obstacle. You would think I would have, but no, it was just no. Let's just move energy. Let's just get something happening. So the market was part of it, and then we built a house in that same time. Within less than a year, we moved here, became members, got jobs. I started the market, and we built a house within less than a year. So. Boom, 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 things really... Because if you wanted to have a nice place to live, you built a house. And the house cost, I'd say around $2,500. No indoor plumbing, no electricity, there was propane tank for heating, and we had an outhouse, so... But we carried water, and it was all fine, I thought it was great. I mean, it was better than a 15-foot trailer. But also, the way that Swami Kriyananda led was that it felt like he was bridging the gap between what we were used to in the world and living in a spiritual community that was evolving. I mean, it wasn't in fact there yet. And so he said, when people come here, the money that they have, they can keep. If you have money, if you work for a job and you have money for that, you can do all of that. But then you also support the community. So there were community fees for roads or whatever, land payments. But so it was a blend. It wasn't ever a commune. It was a community. And each person was responsible for themselves. So, interesting, because you think, wow, well, you're coming and, you're giving up everything and you're coming here, then what do I get? Well, you get to serve. You get to give more. And you better bring money with you so that you can do so. So there was always, in other words, what I'm trying to say is that there was always that vibration and that consciousness that you're responsible for yourself. Yeah. Yes, it's a community, and yes, we will cooperate and help each other, but you're responsible for yourself. If you want a house, build it. Figure out how. So that was different than what was happening in other spiritual communities of the time. Some of them were more ashram-like from India. Others were more like communes, where you just gave your money and then the community somehow supported you. But not here. It was a real, it felt balanced to me. And so that was one thing that I really appreciated, because there was so much to adjust to, on the physical plane, on the spiritual plane, everything. And so that was interesting. And then the other thing was that Swami also, he had his own dome. He lived there by himself, and it was his private home. And he invited the community there for satsangs and that kind of thing. But in other words, he had his own spiritual place and space. And that's what he said we should have as well. So yes, we're a community, and yes, you want to take the benefit of meditating together, but that's not it. You can meditate together, yes, but then you go home and you meditate more on your own. So anyway, just a very interesting combination of balance of how do you live a deepening spiritual life in a community. Because you say that word community to people and they think, oh, you're always together all the time, right? No, you have to have both. You have to have a community life and your own spiritual life. Community spiritual life, personal spiritual life. And so those things really, it was helpful for me, and I think for a lot of people that were looking for a way to deepen spiritual life, but with a balance that made sense to them. So there's that. And then I was thinking, there are a couple of stories here that I thought I'd read just a little bit of. Let me see what else here. Two other things. The other thing is that, and it's tricky to, keep in mind, but also a larger vibration of this. Swami was extremely dynamic in how he talked to us and about how he led. And so he said, forget that you're a man or a woman, young or old, you can do anything. That was a big thing. You can do anything. In other words, don't limit yourself. And that was a big vibration in the community. The other thing was, when you come into a situation, come into it and say, what's trying to happen here and how can I help? Not, I can help here, but what's already in motion in any situation. You come into a new job or a new group of people, you take your time and you back off just a little and you say, what's happening here already? And then you say, how can I help with that? How can I add to that? And those were really basic kind of attitudes that are good, really good to keep in mind. It's what makes Ananda Ananda, yeah. Because without that, you just can get into a lot of different little conflicts and energy things about, well, I think it should happen this way, and we're all going to go through that. But it was very notable in the vibration of the community and what Swami put out about that and how he worked with that. The other thing is that when I started the market, he never asked me how it was doing financially. In fact, he never really asked me how it was doing. He could tell. He came into the market. He'd buy milk or veggies or, whatever. But in other words, he was supporting me in doing it. And if it were off, he would have said something and word would have gotten back to me about, But he supported us energetically, not with specifics, not coming in and say, oh, well, I think you should do. Generally, he wouldn't do that unless it was his own project. But with the market, that was something I started. But he never asked me about that. He never asked me how we were doing financially and, where we did this and bought food and all. He could see, he could feel the energy. And so, again, that also for all of us, we're working with each other. Cooperation and harmony are a huge deal. Trust. We're also, in whatever we do, we're working out karma. It's a spiritual community, so we need to make mistakes and, have the freedom to do that and not to feel boxed in by, oh, gosh, if I make a mistake. No, of course you're going to make a mistake. Anything new, yeah, you're bound to. And Swami would talk about that as well. So those are just things that I thought, oh, yeah, those are really helpful to keep in mind. And then I was thinking, these are lighter things, but Narayan was saying, will you read from the book? And I thought, I'm not sure, but this is, it's just kind of a light thing, but yeah. So we were, their small group was in Como in the mid-1980s, and Swami was just establishing Ananda's work in Europe. It was just beginning, and a lot of coming and going of people and where we were living, all of that. But Como Kirtani and I happened to go over there in mid-March in 1985, and we had the opportunity, she and I, with other people traveling in other ways, but we went down to Rome, and then we went down to southern Italy with Swami. He was doing a program in Rome, and then he was doing a program in Catanzaro in southern Italy. And that was quite an adventure, because southern Italy is a whole different place than northern Italy or even Rome. In other words, I have a picture, I didn't put it in the book, but there wasn't room. But I have a picture of us having a meal with the whole group in Catanzaro. And there's big bottles of wine on the table, and they're smoking, and they're playing the guitars and chanting. And it was like, wow, all of this goes together, eh? And Swami, in the middle of it, is himself, giving the teachings, just moving right along, because there was an SRF meditation group there. And so, they were serious people, but just the whole vibe of southern Italy was very interesting. But from there, we took a little vacation, and we went to Capri. On our visit to Capri, Swami told us, you have to go. This is to Kirtani and I. We traveled with him. On our visit to Capri, Swami told us, you have to go and see the Blue Grotto, Grotta Azzurra. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world. As a young boy, sometime in the 1930s, Swami had been there with his parents and had always remembered its beauty. So down Kirtani and I went to the harbor to board a boat to take us to the grotta. The boat we boarded was fairly large, but unbeknownst to us, one that could not actually enter the grotto. In mid-ocean, just outside the grotto entrance, and assisted by highly skilled seamen, I don't think they dropped many passengers into the water, we transferred to a much smaller boat that held 3 or 4 people. The seaman piloting this boat approached the entrance to the grotto, grabbed a large chain fastened to the roof, and swung us in. Poof, we were inside. The color of the water inside the grotto is truly amazing, a deep crystal clear blue found nowhere else. And so, taking advantage of this special moment in time, Kirtani and I said to the boatman, "Vorremmo nuotare," we want to swim. We would like to swim. And though swimming is not usually allowed, he actually let us climb out of the boat and swim. Divine Mother made an exception for us. In the water we sang Swami's song, "Swim in the blue grotto, silver on your skin." Anyway, then after that we visited Guido Odierna's studio on Capri, and then from Capri, Kirtani and I traveled with Swami by train from Naples to Florence and on to Milano, and then to Como train station. And then, but when we were on our long train ride, Kirtani, I, and Swami, when we shared a meal with Swami in the dining car, once again, he paid for all of us. When I said in a humorous way, "Some friends we are," Swami looked at us both very sweetly and said, "I am very lucky to have friends such as you." Anyway, he was just very, very much with us and very always perceptive about things. So, and also the other part that I wanted to mention is that Swami was also always looking ahead to how Ananda would grow and how it would evolve. And so Pranaba and I had a lot of time going out to centers and back to here, out again, back to here. And at one point, we had been traveling, Pranava was managing the Expanding Light, and we had set up a tour, and we had been traveling in the Southwest to bring people to the Expanding Light. And at a certain point around Sedona, which was one of our last stops, we got a phone call, and it was late at night, and we came back from an event we had just had, and there was a message, and it said, "Please call Terry McGilloway right away, it's important." And so we thought, well, it's 9:30 at night, really? And so we did, we called, and his first thing that he said was, "How's your Italian?" This was 1989, so I had been there in 85. 1989, Swami was concerned about Assisi. It was newly evolving, Ananda Assisi and the energy balancing and all of that, and he wanted us to move there immediately, indefinitely. And we were on tour. So, at that point, I thought, say yes to life. Yes, right, I've done that. But that point, I felt like my energy was going so much into this tour and the Expanding Light and bringing people, and now it's like, we're doing this, and it felt like hitting a brick wall, just boom, and I thought, ooh, I don't know if I can do this. I mean, we said yes, of course, but anyway, it was a very interesting, I thought, this is where yoga comes in. Stay balanced, stay calm, stay focused, and just do what needs to happen. So we had come back thinking we were going to be in seclusion here at the village for like a week or so. Swami said, no, I need you to move right away. So we came out of seclusion, sold our car, packed up everything we owned, filled up suitcases, and took everything that we could to Italy. Yeah, but just, so how are decisions made? It depends on the willingness of people. And we were very willing. At that point, we were free. We were able to move around a lot. And it was a wonderful adventure. So, but you're always looking at adventure and discipleship. And so how they fit together, how you're able to really keep that to the fore. Because it wasn't just about moving to Assisi, it was about what needed to happen there and about the energy that needed to take place there and that we could have helped with. And so we did. We did our best and had again, great spiritual adventure moving there. So at this point, I'd like to ask Dambara to come up. And, I was thinking we were talking about a chant, and I said, oh, I am free, and then a song. And the song that I thought about a lot was Dare to Be Different. It reminds me so much of Swami, and the qualities. So I'd like to read the words. Dare to be different, dare to be free, dare to roam far like wind on the sea, fly like a gull, soar high on the air, be strong in your courage when others despair. Never in anger, never in haste, go without pride, be never abased. Freedom is yours if freedom you give. To all give it freely, in freedom you'll live. Mountains that stand up tall to the sky tell us no dreaming is ever too high. Dare to climb boldly, brave that high peak. You'll never know failure if bravely you seek. And that's really how Ananda was built, has been built. So why don't we sing it together?
Join along. Dare to be different, dare to be free, dare to roam far like wind on the sea, fly like a gull, soar high on the air, be strong in your courage when others despair. Never in anger, never in haste, go without pride, be never abased. Freedom is yours if freedom you give, to all give it freely, in freedom you live. Mountains that stand up tall to the sky tell us no dreaming is ever too high. Dare to climb boldly, brave that high peak. You'll never know failure if bravely you seek. Dare to be different, dare to be free, dare to roam far like wind on the sea, fly like a gull, soar high on the air, be strong in your courage when others despair. Never in anger, never in haste, go without pride, be never abased. Freedom is yours if freedom you give, to all give it freely, in freedom you live. Mountains that stand up tall to the sky tell us no dreaming is ever too high. Dare to climb boldly, brave that high peak. You'll never know failure if bravely you seek. One last time. Dare to be different, dare to be free, dare to roam far like wind on the sea, Be strong in your courage when others despair.
And I think that will be it for this evening. So I hope you will enjoy the book. It was a joy to write it, a lot of work, but very, very blessed. And so it's something to keep in mind as Ananda evolves, and just all of the future adventures that will be coming your way.
Just for those that are here present in the Temple of Light, everyone's welcome to come out for a book signing with Parvati. And if you're online and you'd like a book sign, just let us know. And for those that are online too, of course, you can get the book at Crystal Clarity's website. And we didn't mention, I just remembered, of course, the book is available in print, ebook, but Parvati also read it as an audiobook. We know some people listen to audiobooks, so it's available on our website and on Audible. Many thanks, Parvati, for sharing your spiritual adventure and joy with us. So please come and join us.